Check, check, check. Hey, there it is. What in the world? Chip, what have you been doing? Chip has been chewing wires while I was out of town. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Rewind. Back. Hold on. We'll just start again. Hold on. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm back. Hold on. Why is my title thing all big up here? It should be smaller and less intrusive. While I'm doing house cleaning around here. Hi. Good God, what a week, what a weekend, what a week. So we're in day 7 of Occupy Mar-a-Lago. The FBI have been there, I guess, all week. I'm sure the the dew has dried on the leaf of the lily, and they are, at this point, the excitement of shoving M80s and wads of toilet paper down the toilets and watching them blow up is boring now. They've obviously peed all over the omelet bar, and everybody's staking out their own room, and they've obviously I don't know how the hostages are doing. If anybody knows what the story is with the Mar-a-Lago members that were present when the raid happened and how they are faring. Does anybody know, and I haven't been able to find this, has the FBI issued any demands about the return of the golf clubs? I mean, at least, well, or the caddies. Can we at least release the caddies so we know you're serious? And then, no? Hi, everybody. Welcome. Thank you so much. Summer's birthday was fantastic. We had a lovely time. I will be sharing a bit of the silliness over the course of the week. But overall, pretty good. We're both exhausted and sore from walking the length and breadth of California adventure. More like Disneyland, we had more of a strategy because you gotta. Because they started this new thing at Disneyland where if you stay at the hotel, they let you into the park a half hour early, which leads me to my newest theory, which is if they did that for an hour, you could do the whole park. If everything was closer together. Most of our time in that early half hour, that extra half hour that we got riding rides, was spent walking between other rides, was just like getting from one to the other. And last time we were there, which was over a year ago, we didn't get, there were 2 rides, the Spider-Man ride at California Adventure, which is like, it's kind of like the Toy Story or the Buzz Lightyear rides where it's an interactive, sort of like a roving video game. In the Buzz Lightyear, it's rather untoward. Or Toy Story, you are flicking this little gun cannon thing with this, where you're pulling on this plunger, and it's a bit suggestive. And then the Buzz Lightyear one, you have a little blaster that you shoot these targets as you go through, and everybody tries to, that kind of thing. It's really fun. So the Spider-Man web slinger one, there is no, and this is the future on its way, by the way. We'll talk about that a little bit this morning. I think we should talk about the future since everybody's so busy dwelling in the present and the past. Yes, I don't care what's his name, who wrote The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle. I don't care what he says. You can dwell on the present too much. Anyways, it's a form of nihilistic navel gazing that people can get stuck in. Anyways, the Spider-Man ride, back to it, is the same thing as the Toy Story or the Buzz Lightyear rides, except you don't have any apparatus. You just use your hands. So you flick your hands out in the Spider-Man thwip, and it tracks your motion, and you can see in your glasses on the screen that's in front of you, outside, you can see your webs hitting things. Now you're in the car with 4 other people, so it's chaos. It should be just 2 people, or like you should be allowed to have just 2 people or whatever. If it's a family, it kind of makes sense. But if you're in there with 2 other strangers, you're like, and I felt bad because like Summer killed it. She won hands down. I came in a close second, but the other 2 people never had a chance. Like she and I were just beasts. And then, and anyways, it's a fun ride, and so, but it's like at California Adventure, that's the one we hadn't done a year ago. In the Star Wars one, there in the new part of Disneyland, the actual Disneyland park, because if you don't know, Disneyland and California Adventure are two separate parks, and they're right across from each other. And California Adventure is more like it's a little more like a standard theme park, and it's built like like a boardwalk, like an Atlantic City or something like that, big, around this big water piece, this water fixture, and then there's old-fashioned roller coasters and that kind of stuff. So, and and like a Ferris wheel kind of ride with the sliding boxes in them that you can be on, that kind of stuff. It's great. They have some nice old rickety ones. There's a goofy roller coaster, which is very small, but is, it's good for a kid, that kind of thing. It was nice to see Spider-Man again. It was lovely. He said hi. He wants me to send his love to you guys. By the way, Spider-Man 2 is on Netflix right now. And so all these people, I'm getting all these text messages like, dude, like that's all they, I have no idea. Like, of course, how did you not? All right. Anyways. So, or I forgot, which is completely reasonable. Anyways, yeah. So the Rise of the Resistance ride in the Star Wars land in the actual Disneyland park is fantastic. It's we didn't get to ride it last time because literally the line was just absurd. There are two terrible lines in Disneyland and California Adventure. In California Adventure, it's the Cars ride. No matter when you go there, the Cars ride will be hideous. You're in some ways better off if you're with a pair, it's just a couple, go as single riders and just ride in different cars. Because it's an hour and a half. It's like a quarter of your day in line for this thing. And it's a lovely ride. And the production value is enormous. And you can see why people want to be on that ride. That said, the Rise of the Resistance one, what's really impressive about it is, I mean, the ride itself is like a Star Tours like ride. It's visual and changes. You go, but it's more practical because you go through these different sets on this car. You're seeing stuff out the windows and you're interactive. And there's a big Kylo Ren at one point when he's using the Force to pull your vehicle towards him, and it starts shaking because it can't get away. And then somebody shoots the hull, and the back of it flies out, and wind just blasts through like there's an actual hole in the hull. It's really impressive. The lines are like 4 hours long on all the new rides now. They're not that terrible. Nothing gets over like an hour and a half, or they pause it. It's like 70 minutes or something like that is when they start pausing people getting in line, and they'll take it off if you look at the app, it'll stop showing, if it's got a 2-hour thing or something. So, and there's the Lightning Pass. A lot of people are using that, which shortens the ride as well. Shortens the line, or rather. But the Rise of the Resistance one is just beautiful. And the coolest part about it, and I'll post some pictures that I took today, is that besides the ride part, the getting, how, like, I don't know if anybody's ever been in Disneyland, you go to the Raiders of the Lost Ark ride. There's a lot of immersion stuff on your way there, because that used to be one of the longest rides as well, or longest lines as well. And the ride it's bumpy, it's jagged, it's odd. There's supposed to be 3 options. 2 of the options never opened. And so you're supposed to be able to ride different tracks, and they just didn't bother. They just gave up on it, just ran the other ones. And because they needed to get people through and they couldn't afford to shut it down and whatever. They'll probably add them as time goes on. But in the line, they have like Sala talking to you, and they have this one thing where there's like a thing that says, don't pull the rope. And if you pull the rope, you hear somebody below fall off the rope like you just shook them loose. That kind of shit. It's fun. The Rise of the Resistance thing is nothing till you're there. It's just, you're in a cave. You're just like, the line goes forever, winding around, but you're inside the actual stone cave, and there's occasionally a prop or something. But there's no like you know, in Star Tours, they have R2 and 3PO working on a ship, and then they have another robot that talks to you, and that you go by a heat sensor that, you know, is, depending on what people are wearing, can be a bit weird. And there's a big screen of flights leaving, you know, like there's a lot of that. In the Rise of the Resistance, there's nothing until you get to the, you know, you're in. Once you're in, though, it's enormous. You literally, at one point, you take a shuttle from one area to another place, like one of the old the Rebel shuttles, the first one from like, I guess it's not quite, it's the one that took R2 to Leia's ship. It's that shape of the ship, if you know that one. And somebody in the chat probably knows the name. But you take that ship, you get in it, and you just kind of hold on like a subway car, and it takes you to, you know, you're trying to escape, and then you end up getting sucked into a tractor beam and pulled into a big Corellian ship. And when you step off of it, they tell you, like, get out. There's a bunch of people in, you know, in Empire uniforms and stuff. You walk out into a flight deck of the, you know, of the Corellian ship, and it's huge. It's like a basketball court with a giant screen on the end of it that is showing you space and what's going on outside, and rows of stormtroopers and vehicles and other stuff around. And they guide you out of the thing and send you to the next station. And so I mean, it's for nothing, kind of, except just looking at it. It's just like, you just walk out and it's just a moment of like, holy crap, this is huge. And then you're on to another hallway. But it's awesome. This better be leading up to a political analogy like the Trump administration is the teacups and the Biden administration is the Rise of the Resistance. Well, there's a lot of that in there. Sorry, Leather Goddess. It's a morning show. I can be a little more relaxed, can I? And tell you what's going on. We'll get there. Don't worry. But, so the ride itself, though, once you get in there, it is worth every second. And we ended up doing it twice in one day. We did it in regular line once, and then we got a lightning pass later. So yeah. Sparks, where are you? I'm here. So it was worth it. It was a good time. There. Okay. Now you're all caught up. And then let's see what else. Just the Star Wars area where the shops are, and there's a restaurant. There's like a place where you can buy Bantha milk, which is basically like a blueberry coconut milk smoothie. It's like a light icy smoothie that's blue. It's the Bantha blue, and there's a green one as well. But that's cool. You can, the sodas, if you buy a Sprite or a Coke or something like that, they come in bottles that look like thermal detonators, which is kind of amazing. And I have to say, like, the clothing that they sell in that area especially is ridiculous. Like, it's full on cosplay stuff. Like, you can buy a Kylo Ren outfit that's basically movie quality. It's insane. And like, it's expensive, but I suppose if you're, you know, in for a penny, in for a pound is where they're going. And it's the only place you can buy it off rack. You can buy most of the things that they have there online, of course, but you won't know how it fits and you won't know what it's doing. And if you're a huge fan, this is a place to get it, I suppose. And you can build your own lightsaber, and they have different blades and different shapes, and you can choose whatever. And there's a little like lightsaber camp thing that comes with the price of buying your own lightsaber. It's like a huge deal. I didn't do any of that stuff because it's very expensive, but it's also like more my thing than Summer's thing. So we were there for her birthday. So, yeah. Darth Vader cola, only it could be so bold. They do serve alcohol in California Adventure, which I think is a mistake. And you can also buy, they serve alcoholic drinks in the Club 33 has always had it, but in Star Wars Land, there's a restaurant you have to have a reservation for that's only for grown-ups, and they serve alcohol in there. I think that's stupid. Dear Disneyland and California Adventure, that's ridiculous. No. Quit it. Stop. It's nah. It's just don't. It's wrong. It's silly. Don't do it. And I mean, I understand. I don't drink at all, so I'm used to doing without, I suppose. But I just don't see how this can't go south, especially if there's I think they try to isolate it to only a couple of places so that you can only get 1 or 2 drinks, and therefore the idea is that nobody will be fucked up at the end of something. I don't buy it, though. I feel like they could bounce back and forth, and anybody who wanted to could just make it bad. So I don't know what the need for alcohol. I don't know. Like, the idea that you would want it to just deal with your kids is crazy. Went to Disney World the year it opened. A mariachi player fell in love with my sister. She was in 8th grade. My dad was unamused. Wow. So, all right. Hi, chat. Welcome. Good to have you with me. We're going to let's dive into our trends this morning, shall we? There's so much going on. It's just ridiculous. First of all, Dr. New Jersey, which is, I've decided Dr. Oz's supervillain alter ego is named Dr. New Jersey. So he becomes, he's known in the community as a pillar of the community as Dr. Oz, but at night he becomes Dr. New Jersey and fights good wherever he finds it. This is him in a Pennsylvania store with his shirt tucked into a belt. And all 3 buttons buttoned up. What is happening? What is this look? What is this? He's basically showing how expensive things are, I think.
Thought I'd do some grocery shopping. I'm at Wegner's, and my wife wants some vegetables for crudité.
My wife wants some vegetables for crudité.
Right? So here's a broccoli.
Here's a broccoli. That's how people talk. I would argue people who shop or eat or weren't discovered by Oprah often will refer to things as some broccoli, not a broccoli. That's weird. Yeah, it's Wegmans. I know. Yeah, that's the other thing you mispronounced.
Wife wants to do some grocery shopping. I'm at Wegner's, and
Wegner's. Wegner's. Wegmans. That's true. That's right, Scotty. Well spotted.
My wife wants some vegetables for crudité, right? So
my wife wants some vegetables for crudité, and that's I'm the hunter part, and she's gathering or something. This is me being macho, buying vegetables. The wife, she wants vegetables, for crudité, as you do. For crudité.
Here's a broccoli.
Here's a broccoli. A broccoli. A broccoli. It's called a murder of broccoli, by the way. I don't know if you know that, but a clump of broccoli is called a murder. It's called a bitter of broccoli. It's called a pleh of broccoli.
That's $2. Not a ton of broccoli there.
That's $2.
Some asparagus. That's $4.
That's a lot of asparagus.
Yep. Carrots.
The giant fucking bag of carrots.
That's $4 more. That's $10 of vegetables there, and then we need some guacamole.
Or you could buy.
That's $4 more.
Or you could buy 4 avocados.
And she loves salsa. Yeah, salsa there.
Yeah, that's what it says. Let me turn around to make sure. It's in a stack of things that say fresh salsa, but let me make sure that the product is facing forward.
$6 must be a shortage of salsa. Guys, that's $20 for crudité, and this doesn't include the tequila. I mean, that's outrageous.
That's outrageous.
We got Joe Biden to thank for this.
We got Joe Biden to thank for this. When did he become Jim Brewer? Guy, We got Joe Biden thing for that. Come on, guys. What I gotta do? I'm here at Wagnalls. I'm here at Wagonaries. Yeah, that doesn't include the tequila. Yeah, it also includes a lot of prepared foods that are special you can make yourself. Get an onion and some tomatoes, dummy. I'm just saying. Some cilantro, a few tomatoes. You can make a lot more salsa than that. It's just a crudité, and it's not even. What crudité uses guac and salsa and tequila? I have no idea. I mean, let's just start on the premise that none of us know what the fuck he's talking about. Secondly, he's in the farm fresh section, and he's not reading any of the sales stuff. He's just like avoiding it, like it doesn't exist. Hey, I'm over here at Wagnalls, and my wife insists on us eating. She saw some asshole doctor that Oprah put on television, and she says we should eat more vegetables. So she's sending me to the gay part of the grocery store, ladies and gentlemen, to make something that. I'm like I don't like what she's saying, so I'm gonna make something macho, like what's the word for crudité? Anyways, so what do we got here? We got un broccoli, and it's not that's bullshit. And there's some asparagus, which I don't even trust. And I mean, it makes you. Everybody says it makes your pee smell weird. I don't know what they're talking about because I don't have that sensation. It also makes me unable to read other people's emotions. I can't do either thing. I can't smell asparagus pee, and I don't give a shit about people. And then you're gonna need a couple of carrots, so I'll get this ginormo bag of pre-peeled carrots because my wife hates to peel, and I don't do woman's work. So, yeah, and then what do we got up here? We got some, I'm going to get some guacamole, fresh sealed guacamole. I was put that right there. I don't know which one's better. This one or that one? This one or that one? I think this one or that one. What's the orange? It's got tomatoes in it. Fuck that. All right, get some of that. And then we'll get some fresh salsa to go with my French appetizer, right? Yeah. Then we're gonna walk down here. That's $20, and she's just to get for my wife to get mad at me for not knowing what the fuck I was buying. But hey, I haven't shopped for myself without a camera present in like 30 years. So what do we got here? It says Salsas. So they got salsas at Wagnams. And then I got this, you know what, fuck that. You know what, I don't like salsa, and we're going to put that back. And then, where did I get this? Where I got this here. Okay, no, fucking guacamole. Who eats that shit? You know what, I don't really like carrots. She just makes me buy them. These things are gross and putting them back. Fuck that. And maybe I'll keep the broccoli. Do I want to keep them? Nah, I'm putting it back too. Fuck that. Anyways, I'm going over the meat section backwards because that's how a man does it. What a dickhead. We're gonna wait. How long before we find out this store is actually in New Jersey? Salsa and asparagus. You don't fix your asparagus. You don't fix your asparagus, your salsa with asparagus. You don't dress your famous the famous Dr. Oz asparagus. Where you just use salsa, a little guacamole, and some Velveeta. Jesus Christ. Fucking out of some just for the crudité. What? not the broccoli, HAL. A broccoli. I beg your pardon. Shopping broccoli. HAL. She shops. And I shops at the shops. This is such a what an asshole. Just try harder, dude. Who thought this was a good idea? He did. This is his, I guarantee this is his fucking idea. This is the kind of shit you would have seen on Dr. Oz if Oprah hadn't set him up with producers from day fucking one. Honest to God. Let's check in. Let's see what's trending. Come on now. Westworld, I appreciate the visual here with the tower going through their chest like they're spiked on something. It's very cool. It's very iRobot. The ending of iRobot, cool. Oh, Jim Jordan wants to get rid of the FBI so they don't look into his OSU past. He has 14 FBI whistleblowers in a frantic bid to save sinking Trump. I'm certain that's true. How could that not be true? How many of Jim Jordan's 14 FBI whistleblowers are Herschel Walker? That's a good question. House Judiciary Republicans demand Biden officials save records related to the Trump raid. There, okay, here it is. I got it right here. Hold on. That's it. There was no raid. It wasn't a raid. It was a search. Trump allies on House Judiciary Committee asked Biden officials to save records related to Trump. It's all filed, fucko. How about asking Trump to save records? How about asking Trump to save all the emails between him and the Justice Department when he was like, we were being fully compliant? Why aren't you asking for that shit? Nobody is accusing the DOJ or the FBI of absconding with nuclear secrets. Shouldn't the former president, having taken an oath, have some sort of responsibility? No? Ah, fuck it. Put a jacket on, you jackass. Hit. 14. Wait. Are these the same one? No, 14 agents caught leaking information. Deep state dishonesty. Congratulations to today's winner of the biggest lie for Trump contest. Jim's story that 14 FBI agents came forward as whistleblowers over DOJ politicization is a rehash of 2019 Tom Fitton right-wing wingnut conspiracy theory. That's fascinating. 14 agents caught leaking information. Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton says Judicial Watch obtained referral records of FBI employees leaking sensitive classified information. That's it. That's all. Comments. Commenting on this article has ended. We missed it. 2 people are viewing it, me and somebody else. And is there something? Can we skip the ad? What the fuck is happening?
Well, the FBI is entirely willing, and they've displayed it many times, to drag American citizens from their
I remember Pudgy Tucker.
Beds at night and send them to prison for life if they misremember what they said in irrelevant emails. They're trying to do that right now to a number of people, as you know.
Yeah, as you know.
And yet,
no, they're not.
Strangely, the FBI seems not concerned at all with wrongdoing by its own agents. How do we
No, of course not.
know this? Well, new documents obtained by Judicial Watch show that 14 separate FBI agents were caught leaking sensitive or classified information. Only 4 of them were fired. With an attitude like that, it's no wonder that new FBI leaks were appearing in America's major papers almost every day.
So they only fired the ones that were leaking stuff about Trump? Is that what you're saying?
For the past 2 years. Tom Fitton is president of Judicial Watch, and he joins us now. Tom, thanks a lot for coming on.
You're welcome. Tom, thanks for coming on. And great makeup job, by the way.
Welcome.
So,
you don't think they went too rougey with you? You don't think you want to back that off a little bit? I mean, on your show, on Judicial Watch's actual live stream, I mean, you do have a tendency to pink yourself up a bit. This is national. No, all right.
So, 14 separate agents caught. These are just the ones who were caught.
Yeah, we got to assume that the rest of them are dirty.
Leaking sensitive material. And only 4 fired? How does that work?
How does that work? They were leaking sensitive information. What would that what's sensitive about it? How sensitive? Sensitive made Trump feel sensitive.
If you're the FBI, you're a protected class. It looks like you had four of the one of whom was fired was Andrew McCabe, the number 2 at the FBI. Others who weren't fired,
right, because of Trump insisted.
They weren't even censured or punished the way the OPR initially wanted to be punished. So they were actually under-punished in many instances.
During the Trump years?
And so this is not a crime? It's a crime. My understanding is it's a crime to leak classified information.
No, that's apparently if Trump even talks about the issue, it magically declassifies everything. He has a Harry Potter wand.
And some of it was grand jury.
Video's way louder. Sorry. Hold on. This is think.
It looks like, according to the documents. So you had, in 14 instances, the OPR investigate and request the firing of several officials, some of whom they didn't even fire. They just censured or suspended.
How can that be at
How can it be when they're leaking grand jury information about Donald Trump?
Exactly the moment when the FBI is sticking firearms in the faces of Americans who've been just accused of not remembering an email.
Okay, just in case you thought that the demonizing of the FBI as villainous, bloodthirsty psychopaths, if you think that started with Fox News this fucking week, here's Tucker Carlson saying that they stick guns in the faces of people who simply misremember emails.
Totally irrelevant email. How can they hold themselves to such a lower standard?
Well, Andrew McCabe specifically was referred for criminal prosecution on his illegal leaking and his lying allegedly about it. And that was well over a year ago. But it is a double standard.
So what does that mean? That means that McCabe will not be prosecuted?
It suggests that nothing's going to be done.
Is anyone ever prosecuted for these kinds of crimes within the FBI?
No. But put a pin in that thought and wait a couple of years because it gets really good.
Rarely, by all accounts. Certainly, we did this analysis. It's 3 years, 14 agents, no prosecutions, 4 firings, and many of the agents got away with lesser punishments than recommended.
So you're answering the question that we raised yesterday on the show, which is, how did Peter Strzok get the kind of chutzpah required to sue the FBI for firing him for clear conflicts of interest in the course of his job? Like, how did he get that attitude?
How does he even do that? I mean, here he is walking around putting guns in people's faces. I mean, it's just stupid. There you go, Tammy Wilson. Oh, God.
That day after, I think after. I don't know if I spoke with him in the morning or not. I just don't know. I'd have to go back and. I mean, I don't know that when those conversations happened. But what I know is I spoke with him all the time. I'd have to go. I spoke with him that day after.
Dr. Scott Adams. This would be a good breakdown to do. The body language here. The whole like fixing your. Shit, are my pants falling down? God, I've been losing so much weight. I feel like I'm sweating every day. I don't know why. Fuck. I mean, Jim Jordan. Yeah, I like one of the FBI agents Jim Jordan's been speaking to. Oh dear. Come on. That's gotta be fake. Somebody had to make that. Get out of here with this. Really? Come on. How is this? How the rat fuck is going on? Oh, God. So, yeah. Oh, and Kilmeade. Is he in a fight with Ducey? Oh, God. Ew. Since Biden's chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. Thanks for reminding us. We've been out of Afghanistan for a fucking year. We have not been spending $300 million a day in Afghanistan for a whole year now. One of the big reasons why the deficit got cut in half. GOP demands accountability for Afghanistan exit. We were supposed to stay forever. Make Afghanistan the 51st state. We're guaranteed 2 Republicans. You seen how they treat women? We'll get 2 Republican senators guaranteed.
Year who have experienced massive moral injuries as a result of that. And to hear our administration and our leaders saying things like that, it just reinforces the fact.
Your reaction to the administration saying this was a success and this report by Republican House members partisan?
Yeah, Brian, it's just like a gut punch, really, because this should not be a partisan issue. This is not a Republican issue or a Democrat issue. This is an American issue, because not only are the Afghan people affected by this, the allies left behind, but we've had American veterans and active duty members on the phone with these allies left behind for over a year who have experienced massive moral injuries as a result of that. And to hear our administration...
Wait a minute. Which people? They've experienced massive moral injuries because of people that were not vetted and gotten out of the country. Is this from this year or last year? This is when they prepped. Now, understand, the Trump administration refused to prep any evacuation for Afghanistan. From the day he made the deal with the Taliban, Trump did fuck all to prep for us to leave. And then he hamstrung the entire system that would help people get vetted so that they could be taken out of the country.
And our leaders,
he and Stephen Miller stomped on the brakes to try and keep people there.
Saying things like that, it just reinforces the fact that over a year has passed and they still don't get the impact of this.
He said he wasn't going to leave any American behind. Did he?
There are still hundreds of Americans and green card holders left behind, from what we can see. And we also left...
Now, did they want to leave and couldn't? Or did they stay because they have dual citizenship and they're in the opium trade?
Some of our most staunch allies behind: Afghan commandos, National Mine Reduction Group, Special Forces. They were left behind. These were the people that did 98.9% of the fighting for 5, 6, 7 years.
They were part of the Afghan military. We weren't going to take the elite of the Afghan military when we left. Who thinks that was ever going to happen?
Of the war, and they were completely left to their own devices. And over the winter, they've been hunted, killed, tortured, executed in front of their families. And it's only been the veteran volunteers and the active duty volunteers who have stayed on the phone and helped keep them alive through their own pension funds for this Uncle Sam-sized problem.
So your group saved between 700 and 1,000. Other groups had to do this. What is the effect that your government said these people will die without you coming out of retirement, putting your careers on hold to help? What kind of mental anguish does that cause the veteran community?
Yeah, I mean, this was not a chaotic withdrawal. This was like the largest wholesale abandonment of a partner force, in modern history. It made...
Hang on. Oh, hi, Chip. Yeah. Hi, buddy. What are you doing? What do you want, buddy? Come here. Chip, come here. Get out from under. He's under the desk. Chip. Get out of there. Come here. Hold on. I've got a cat extraction. What are you doing? Come here. Come here, silly. Come here. What are you? Get out from under there, you big belly. What are you doing? What are you doing? Look how big your kitty is. Look how you're a monster. You're a monster cat. And I left the door open, and you come in here, and you want morning scratches. You got a ton of them already. What's happening? What you doing? Excuse you. Flintstone cat. Now, and I don't even have my roller, and it's just crazy. That's Chip, everybody. Again, this is there are a bunch of people who said that we should have stayed in Afghanistan, and this dude's one of them, and Kilmeade believes it as well. Visit Taiwan, and oh yeah, that's the other thing too, is he's flipping out because after Nancy Pelosi went to Taiwan, another delegation of Congress people went as well. prompting Kirk Lippold to react. Oh my God. Wait, Kirk reacted? Dear God.
Next guest calls the trip nothing more than a photo op. Retired Navy.
Nothing more than a photo op. Why would it be a photo op? It's an interesting slam. It's worth a conversation. What makes it a photo opportunity? I mean, it's one thing like a family snapshot or something like that. But if it's a photo opportunity, that means there's an opportunity that comes from the photo itself, one would think, judging from the title. So there would obviously be some benefit to being in the photo and therefore showing your A, support for Taiwan, B, actual willingness to go there in spite of threats from China. Right?
Navy Commander Kirk Lippold joins us now. Commander, thanks for joining us. You think that it's a photo op? You don't think there's anything substantive to it?
Well, considering how the Chinese feel about it, the show of support is in and of itself substantive.
Good morning, Brian. Thank you for having me on. No, it is just a photo op. When you look right now at the Department of Defense, we're doing a lot of drawdown with ammunition and weapons, sending them to Ukraine, which is the absolute right answer. But there is no sense of urgency within the department to replenish those stocks. The services right now are just doing PowerPoint briefings to say, we want the next best thing in 2 to 5 years. They're not doing what's necessary to make sure that we are ready for a face-off with China.
We're not going to have a face-off with China, and if we do, it will be giant munitions. It's not going to be guns on the ground. Also, Taiwan has their own force. Taiwan has a military that is up to the task. Ukraine doesn't. They didn't.
Most experts are expecting to happen in the next 12 to 18 months once President Xi gets reelected this fall.
What do you think is going to happen? Because this president wants to meet with President Xi sometime in the next few weeks or a month or so. That would be an opportunity to send a message. What do you think that message will be?
That if you attack Taiwan, we're going to block 2 spots in the ocean and your country's lights will go out in under a month. You import 80% of your food and 85% of your energy. Sorry. Let's split the difference. Let's just call it 80. 80% of both.
I think he's going to try and send a message that the United States will not tolerate China invading Taiwan. And President Xi is going to look at that and say, your interest in national defense is noted. China's a renegade province. We always wanted to unify.
Taiwan is a renegade province is what he's calling it.
With mainland China.
Taiwan has never been under the governance of the CCP. So let's just start there. The CCP has never governed Taiwan. They have like this tacit control over it, passport-wise, which they took advantage of, you know, in the fact that China was developing and Taiwan developed faster, and they were both kind of like palled together because genetically there's Chinese majorities on both places. But that's it. The CCP has never governed Taiwan. They have regular elections. They have a parliamentary system. They have their own money. It's like, and even like, who gives a fuck if the Chinese call it a rogue province? I mean, Russia is calling Ukraine a rogue province. And they had more control over it years ago. Ukraine at one point was under the USSR.
And we're going to continue to pursue a path that is going to allow us to do that, again, within that 18-month window. So when you really look at it, the meeting is going to be an air bubble because nothing will matter unless the United States is willing to rebuild our military forces and project power with our allies in the region in a manner that sends the clear signal to China that will deter them.
Oh, you mean, like, I got a good idea. What if, I'm with you, Kirk, what if we form an alliance with the Australians and the UK to give them nuclear-powered submarines so that they can silently move around the Taiwan Strait and the Chinese military and Navy don't know where they are at any given time, and then partner with Japan and make a supply agreement with South Korea? Would that work? I think so. Tell you what. We'll think about it. We'll have somebody write up a paper.
From any.
Oh, wait. I just got a note. That happened last year. Okay. You just please continue.
Invasion of Taiwan.
Yeah, I mean, we are just giving our stuff to Ukraine.
We're just like giving it to them. So like, just we're like, oh, come on.
Getting the to them as quick as possible.
Like, we're just like dumping it there. We don't even have any. What we're like giving so many javelins to Ukraine. What if China tries to cross the Strait of Taiwan with tanks? Then what? We're like sending them all of our anti-tank stuff. What happens if China, they've got tanks on the beach. What if they just tell those tanks attack and they just roll through the ocean?
Possible, but we don't have a wealth of armaments remaining. And lastly, how great would it have been for Speaker?
This is the military equivalent of the open border talk. Why don't you just tell everybody, like, I don't know where, but America's out of bullets. We're not out of bullets. Just for the record.
Pelosi to come back and demand that Taiwan get the defensive weaponry necessary to repel a China invasion. Because we see it, we're watching, and they're going through their dry run, but we also can study what they're doing, can't we?
Yeah, maybe like we'll get a good look at it. I saw a headline. I didn't really read the rest of it. Somebody read it to me, but like, aren't they basically just doing what they're going to do like they do?
And don't we know the weapons that would work?
Absolutely. When you look at what we're giving Ukraine to
Iran, there's very little difference. What are we giving Iran, sir? What was that Freudian slip? What exactly? Yeah, the cupboards are bare.
Those weapons work. Stop going for the next best thing. Let's reorganize and refurbish the weapons that we have. Let's get the new weapons built that we need today.
Yeah, I think you're misreading the next best thing as the next best thing. Like there's the best thing right now, and then there'll be another, not here's the best thing and this is the next best thing. The next best thing. So they want the best thing, and then whatever's going to be next, like the updated version. I think you're just playing with that phrase just to dick with people.
From the stocks that we used, and let's make sure that we are ready to project power. Every single day that China spends at sea projecting power gives them capability.
No, it doesn't. It makes them use resources. They're bombing fish, fucko.
We have to remember that, and we need to be able to project that same power there. We're not prepared right now.
Yes, we are.
Nor are we doing what is necessary to rebuild the stocks to be able to get in a toe-to-toe fight.
It's pronounced stonks.
With China in the Strait of Taiwan, should it come to that.
Yeah, it's not gonna. We're not gonna have like guys on decks firing machine guns at other boats in the Taiwan Strait. I don't know how the fuck this dude thinks this stuff will play out. What a goon. You what now? Does Kilmeade just, is he like the moron quarterback? Oh, and then this is Ducey trying to talk this down, and Kilmeade is not having it. Like this is the one thing, like Ducey was always kind of like a well-meaning sap on the show, and has always been like a bit of a Trump suck-up. But you can see when he, like whatever part of him still exists, because Kilmeade's trying to be the next Rush Limbaugh, and he's got his radio show and all this other shit. That's not what he does. He's just basically the morning dude here. And this looks like an argument at the dinner table, like she's sitting there as mommy and daddy are fighting.
We just know that right now, given the fact that there is a suggestion, there are a lot of online, apparently very specific threats against very specific agents.
Also, while he's saying that, why is Brian Kilmeade doing the Illuminati dick hand pose? I don't know if you recall this, but Alex Jones pointed out that anybody that puts their hands like that except for Trump, I suppose, because he does it all the time, is a member of the Illuminati and is showing that to something other, or they're wishing their penis was bigger. I forget which. I didn't watch the whole episode. I only watch Alex Jones to fall asleep. I just find it like it's like having 100 beehives right outside your window. It's just like white noise.
At the FBI and whatnot, it would be great for everybody to tamp down the rhetoric against the FBI, because the FBI simply was doing what the DOJ asked them to do. The Attorney General is the boss of the guy at the FBI, of all the people at the FBI. So
threaten him.
You know, with all of these threats going around, it would ultimately
look. Fucking Kilmeade's rolling his fucking eyes. Look at this jackass. Watch this. Watch Kilmeade.
It would ultimately be great if the former president, who has always been a great support threats going around, it would ultimately be great if the former president, who has always been a great supporter of law enforcement,
citation needed,
is posed with 1,000 police departments coast to coast.
Yes, he's a poser, we know.
It would be great if he called for an end to the violent rhetoric against federal law enforcement.
Yeah, not going to happen.
And in particular, the FBI that was just doing their job.
But as Trey Gowdy pointed out last night,
fuck you, but. There is no but in this. Stop calling for violence against them.
For you to look at this situation and think that Democrats and Republicans have been treated the same over the last few years, you'd have to be looking at a different situation.
Yeah. What? Wait, no. What do you mean, yeah? No. Everybody gets their due process. Everybody gets their day in court. Gathering up information happens to everybody. Now, granted, there haven't been as many child predators that have been busted working on Democratic campaigns as there has been on Republican campaigns. And if the argument is that, sure, the Trump campaign had over a dozen, so that must mean the Democrats have at least 2, I'd like to hear it.
Yeah. I mean, leg irons for Navarro.
Gutfeld talked about that too.
I mean, leg irons for Navarro, it's standard op for the fucking jail. He didn't have to go. He could have just reported and said, I'll show up for court. And is that the same fucking thing? So because Navarro was treated like every other prisoner at that particular incarceration facility, everyone else, Kilmeade is saying the death threats against the FBI are justified. That's the argument here. He's like, can somebody just tamp down the rhetoric? The president likes, and look at Ducey, like staring at this fucker. Steve, that's who you work with. That's him. Watch this again real quick.
1,000 police departments coast to coast. It would be great if he called for an end to the violent rhetoric.
All that, and that's all he's asking for. He's not saying support the FBI and say what they're doing is right. No, just the end to the violent rhetoric. That is all Steve Ducey is calling for. And watch this fuckhead go, yeah, butting the end to violent rhetoric. That's it.
Against federal law enforcement, and in particular, the FBI that was just doing their job.
But as Trey Gowdy pointed out last
By the way, fuck Trey Gowdy.
night, for you to look at this situation and think that Democrats and Republicans have been treated the same over the last few years, you'd have to be looking at a different situation.
Yeah.
I mean, leg irons for Navarro.
Gutfeld talked about that too. He said, it's interesting that the Democrats or progressives are now worried about protecting law enforcement when they weren't, years ago during the raids. But no one is for the
during the raids. Oh, these were the George Floyd raids, is what you're talking about when they were raiding Target. Also, there's a difference between concern over like wanting justice in terms of the Chauvin case and thinking those particular officers should go to jail. And even the idea that people were like, defund the police, but what we really mean is we need mental health services because cops shouldn't be sent to certain things where a person is having a mental health freak out and is not armed or something, is more in danger of harming themselves than somebody else, maybe send somebody else. And so some of the funding should go there, which is the big watery conversation around defund the police, which was ruined by the phrase defund the police, for the record. And the idea that, by the way, that any of the ACAB assholes or the people who are like, calling for violence against cops are the same, by the way, as like, imagine Barack Obama calling for that kind of thing, or fucking Bill Clinton, whereas Trump is saying that, is making up lies, saying that that Mar-a-Lago was occupied, that they raided the place, that he called it a sneak attack. Navarro didn't have to be in leg irons. He could have just showed up and said, I will show up for court, and he would have never had a problem. He tried to flee, tried to leave the state on a flight to Tennessee when he is aligned with somebody, by the way, who's considered a flight risk as well, who has the ability to get on a Chinese dissident's, billion-dollar yacht and fuck off. But again, all Ducey is saying is call off the violent rhetoric. And what Kilmeade is saying is, yeah, but that's okay. I mean, it's completely understandable that people would want to murder FBI agents because Peter Navarro was treated like every other prisoner.
Violence of FBI agents or, any of these individuals that are in law enforcement.
Right. If you want to personify that search, look at the Attorney General of the United States. Merrick Garland is the one who has staked his entire reputation on it. If there's not something really big there, he's done.
Whereas Kilmeade's like, nah, let's just shoot some FBI agents. So we need a bigger body count. Warning, if you see this on Twitter, hold on. Warning, if you see this on Twitter, it is edited fake news. This never happened. They spliced in comments the governor made years ago. Twitter needs to step in and remove this immediately. It's a joke. It says manipulated media. Yeah, we know. Dude, you're on a loop. Anybody can fucking see it. This is what he's complaining about.
It was a raid.
It's not a raid. I mean, with all due respect.
It, of course, was a raid.
It was not a raid. They were serving valid process in accordance with the laws and Constitution of...
Like, Hannity's on a fucking loop going like this. They didn't even try hard so they could make that point.
The United States and the state of Florida, they did it with integrity. They did it with honor. And to say it's a raid is disinformation. And you guys need to drive. Excuse me.
Answers tonight.
Excuse me.
It is ridiculous for anybody to call it anything other.
I love how he's like, warning, this is not real. This is deep fakes. Deep fakes. What an idiot. Good Lord. That was funny. This graphic was great. Fox whiplash outbreak. Host guests injured by rapidly changing Trump document excuses. That's solid. And again, this guy, his problem with the diplomats landing there, which, by the way, lowers the chance of China attacking, because killing people while a diplomat is there is a huge move, too big for what the CCP would want to do, and would basically end the entire economy of China, which, we are their single biggest buyer as far as goods. Yeah, here you go. This is
backing the blue.
This is coming
Steve,
from the
who
top.
went
This
rogue?
isn't
Who went
the
rogue? They were following a search warrant. Nuclear weapons. We don't know if there are weapons, but if that is true, and they were just in the basement at Mar-a-Lago, that's kind of a big deal.
Well, certainly
it will allow medical.
I love how they're cutting in on Kilmeade for being a complete bastard during this. Hey, Fetterman, good. They're good people. I got to meet them when I was in Pennsylvania a while back, like a couple years ago, and just good folks. I mean, I will say, both of them look like if he makes it into the Senate, he and his wife will be in the Senate, will be voted most likely to actually have their own coven. I think the black hoodies are an interesting choice. I mean, at this point, why not just get a big Kylo Ren cowl, Fetterman? It's a good look. I mean, they're lovely, but I think that's funny. There's Fred. Good old Fred. Fuck you, Kilmeade. Oh yeah, this is Kilmeade who posted a picture of the judge. Yeah, there you go. Yes, she cooperated by disappearing 35 calories. Have her IT guy destroy the hard drive. FBI interviews on her Saturday with lawyers, no cameras. Then launches a Russia ruse, equal treatment. You can't disappear emails. The IT guy's job was to destroy anything related to anything classified that may have gone through there, so that after she left office as Secretary of State, nothing existed in the wind. It's just like shredding documents. If you have a single copy, you have to permanently destroy them. Digital existence is another thing entirely. So you can destroy it simply by wiping the hard drive and then bleach bitting it and all that kind of stuff. When you shred a document, somebody can tape it back together, as people who worked in the Trump White House will tell you, because they had to do that as a job. Literally, taxpayers were paying like 6 people to tape back together stuff Trump tore up. Last night, while subbing Tucker Carlson, we showed you an image of Judge Bruce Reinhart with Ghislaine Maxwell that has been sourced on screen and to a meme pulled from Twitter and wasn't real. This depiction never took place, and we want to make clear that we were showing a meme in jest. Oh yeah? In jest. After you're caught? Right, there you go. In jest. And then let's see. By the way, hi chat room. Welcome to the show. Hello. How are you? Good to see you. Wait 1 second. There we go. Hold on. Let me bring up the chat. 1 second. There you are. He should sue. I mean, at this point, hi. How are you? Hi, Abel. What's happening? Mark Kramer, they did not say satire when they ran it. As you'll know, that I take great care when I tell people that Trump bought votes and fixed the election and just didn't buy enough votes to win. And I make sure that when I say that, Brian Kilmeade is a paid Russian mole at Fox News, who is literally tasked with carrying their water for them while on camera. I make sure to let people know that I think it's, I believe it to be satire. So I think that's it's just professionalism on my part. I think that's, it's the least I can do. Thank you. Hold on. Why is this? Properties. See if this did that work. Hold on. Thank you. All right. Here we go. Now let's continue. Welcome. I can't leave the chat up very long because then the folks come in. Beg your pardon. The folks come in at and start spamming us. Bryce Dallas Howard. I made so much less money than Chris Patton on Jurassic World sequels, but he fought for pay equity. That was nice of him. But his agents would be stupid to accept it because he's got bigger world Q and he's why people will put their butts in seats. I mean, it's like me demanding, like pay equity against Sharon Glass on Queer as Folk. No, not at all. She earned it. She brought more eyeballs than I did. That's how it works. I'm fine with that. You are not acting is not heavy lifting, and you are not paid by the, by the weight on your back, or even the quality of your work. There are so many. Look at Law and Order. Holy shit. Who's doing the heavy lifting on those episodes, acting wise? The people being questioned who break, the parents of the victim and the person being questioned. That's where all the acting work goes on Ice-T, right? Yeah, because they're really making him dig deep. Albert Bourla, CEO of drug maker Pfizer, has tested positive for COVID-19 has very mild symptoms. Thankfully received 4 doses of the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine, and I'm feeling well while experiencing very mild symptoms. I'm isolating and have started a course of Paxlovid. He's using his own product. It's like everybody eating stummies. All right, let's look at the latest updates in the war in Ukraine. By the way, our dear friend Philip Ittner has reached out yesterday. I retweeted him, but he's been laying low for a week, just enjoying his downtime, and I don't blame him at all. God knows there's plenty of shit going on right now. The next time he goes back, it's very possible that he might be closer to the front lines than he has been. Yeah, this was amazing. I posted about this today, but the Wagner group was staying. Where are you? Where are you popping up here? The Wagner group was hit with and a bunch of Wagner mercenary guys were killed because they posted a bunch of pictures about a building they had taken over in the Donbass where they were staging from, and it was so stupid. It was so fucking ridiculous that that the address for the place was in the pictures. One thing, they've been very, very good at geolocating and telling where buildings are based on elements in the background and shit like that. That it was so dumb. People thought that the Wagner group, that this was like a disinfo tactic where they were tricking, like they were standing in front of a school full of kids or something on purpose to make the Ukrainians attack. They were hesitant to hit the place because it was such a dumb mistake. And yet it turned out it had indeed, after they sent a drone to watch the place to make sure that, and then it turned out, nope, that it was really full of Wagner mercs, and they hit the place with a HIMAR and killed a bunch of them. Video of Ukrainian loitering munition strike on a communications tower in Belgorod. This is WKRP in Cincinnati. Welcome back, my babies. Booger. Did they actually hit it anytime? Oh, that was it? Wait, some guys blew it from the inside. Oh, a loitering munition strike. All right. Poof. All right. And then does it fall over? Is that what because it's, oh, there it goes. Men, have you experienced problems? I'm Bob Dole. And if there's a better analogy for the current, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the greatest available current analogy of Putin's problem in Ukraine. Ladies and gentlemen, if anything sums up Putin's manhood issues in Ukraine right now, better than that, I don't know. Right. Hello. Sorry. Thunk. But oh no. But the little blue pill will help you. The little blue and yellow pill will do the exact opposite. Is that solar panels or is that an array? I think that's an array. Let's see. Meet the team of the Kiev Independent. They're like, okay, here we go. Oh, this is the Ka-52. It was targeted and hit. They've hit 2 of them. Yeah, look at this guy. They hit 2 of them in the last 24 hours. Boom. And they hit it a second time. Yikes. Honestly, Trump met me and he could have tapped me on the head, but he didn't. Ignoring Ukraine setbacks, Putin boasts of Russian weapons prowess. Yes, no, our weapons are so good, only we can blow us up. We have to sink our own ships. Our ships are so powerful, only our munitions can use them. Our communication towers are so incredibly, right. Ukraine cast with Vice German in Kiev. There we go. That bridge is a little worse for wear, I gotta say. Yeah. Russian for and they're hitting it specifically in a way where cars and stuff could get across it, or it could be patched over time easier, and as opposed to just blowing out a giant chunk of it. But the Russians can't bring giant, big, heavy machinery across it. Mother of captured Azov photographer Dmitry Kozak said, Uryana Yurchenko is included. Nobody can break him, says the mother of captured Azov photographer. Oh. Long range forces. Ukraine hits Russian Wagner mercenary HQ in East. Yeah, that was that. Communication tower in Gravenorsk district, Voronezh district, Belgorod Oblast, Russia, knocked down by Ukrainian kamikaze drone position geolocated. So it's inside, only just inside Russia. So it was just is that the line? Is the line right here? So they're like, but technically, I'm gonna argue that Ukraine's gonna say that they blew this up themselves. Why does Russia keep bombing itself? Anonymous operations. Goodbye, Russia. There's a little girl and the spot dog from Boston Dynamics. Interesting choice. Video from Ukraine mechanized brigade reportedly showing a Russian vehicle hitting an anti-tank. Oh yeah, right. This is a tank just rolling over. Yeah, there it is. There you go. They literally, this is them. Boy. And they think it was a munitions vehicle. So it was basically carrying arms, and it hit an anti-tank mine. Yikes. Strike pulling a Russian tank. I mean, they're constantly, Video shows Russian forces, Kadyrov says his Akhmat guys in Alan enter now plant Soledar. Okay, Ukrainian army says it still controls town of Soledar. Russia's still grinding ahead in Donbass, even though taking losses. Again, the timing of these videos is interesting too. Is that they roll in there when they do take some places, and they keep the footage, and then they release it later. Oh, I see. This is what the arms stuff was about. Putin is set to speak at Russian Army's annual expo today. Iran has brought drones amid rumors Russia wants to buy some for use in Ukraine. That's nice of them. Iran. So far away. This right up here. IR. There you go. IR Iran. The Mohajer 6 UAV 1 through 5 didn't work so good. This is not to scale. Just saying. Top notch. I love how the guy at the places this is the Iranian is the Islamic Republic of Iran's Ministry of Defense, and the dude is sitting there on his phone like anybody else at a convention. If there's one thing that can bring humanity together at some point, it'll probably be Boredom. Staff of the occupied Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant have told the BBC World being kept at gunpoint while Russian troops use it as a military base. Yeah, that's a big concern. There you go. Let's see. On February 24th of this year, Sweden has contributed. They've contributed 395 million euros of military, financial, and humanitarian aid to Ukraine since the war's start. Russia's payment to Ukraine for natural gas transit this month goes through without problems, even after glitch with similar oil transaction. That is so fucking weird. So Russia's still paying Ukraine the rights money to send gas through the country to Europe because Europe needs it. Germany in particular needs it to keep its lights on. So they have to let these pipelines continue. And they're still getting residuals for it, essentially. Well, if they stop payment, then the Ukrainians will basically blow up the pipeline. There'd be no reason not to. It's not their problem at that point. It's not now, I would argue, but hilarious. Sorry, Ukraine, like Germany needs to make a deal with France to borrow nuclear power. This is going to be a problem for the Republicans in November. Yeah, because let's look at this. Let's see if we can bring this up. Oil, here's the morning stuff. S&P is up. NASDAQ is up. Crude oil is down. 89.12. Does it go to the... Yeah, here we go. Generic... Get out of here. Get out. But I don't want to... There we go. Generic first sale future on oil, 89.04. This is it during the course of the day. Never getting above 91, 92, or is it 92.10? Never getting above 92.10. Oil sinks to 6-month low on China outlook, Iran supply boost. Oh, God. This is it's going to be good for the Republicans this fall. They're backing this pony into a corner. China's apparent crude demand drops around 10% year over year in July. Do you know how fucking insane that is? Think about the lockdowns last year in China. Think how, like, everything was shut down in China. Like, I mean, it's been bad all year, but last year in particular, this time last year, when Delta was breaking out in the United States, which is, by the way, one of the reasons why we have 0% year-over-year inflation, is because inflation it spiked again because of Delta last year. Well, Mark, yeah, they're on lockdown, but they've been easing lockdowns. It's supposed to bring it up, but this is 10%. It's down 10% year-over-year in July from last year, where it was already fucked. WTI futures touched below $87 after closing 2.4% lower on Friday. Oil fell as softer economic data from China and potential breakthrough in negotiations with Iran eased pressure on crude markets. West Texas Intermediate plunged as much as 5.7% to fall below $87 a barrel, the lowest in more than 6 months. Oil started the week on the back foot after China announced a surprise cut in key interest rates on the back of weak economic data. Yeah, they're going to do infrastructure spending. See, when we do infrastructure spending, no matter what the Republicans tell you, we actually do infrastructure spending. We build roads and bridges. We add broadband to places. We repair things. We add street lights and like road lights all along sections of freeway, shit like that. We run new and better telephone lines or electrical lines. You know, when China does it, they upgrade their security apparatus. They literally spent something like 40% of the infrastructure payment that they put out last time on cameras, on basically like monitoring equipment. That's not infrastructure. They spent the rest of it building rail lines that no one uses. Imagine if the United States said, we're going to build new train infrastructure. We're going to do a big investment in Amtrak. And what we're going to do is we're going to build a brand new line from the middle of New Mexico over through Nevada up into the middle of Idaho, bypassing every major city. It won't go to Vegas. It won't go to, Taos. It won't go to, fucking Twin Falls, or like it's just gonna like circumvent all the major cities and just kind of it'll go around any of the cities. It's not just gonna go past them. It's gonna go around. They're gonna build a loop around it just so it gets really close, but it can't stop. Yeah, CCTV is not infrastructure. That's what they spend it on. Oil started the week on the back foot. Meanwhile, Iran signaled a nuclear deal agreement could be reached in the next few days, raising the prospect of Iranian crude regarding returning to the global market. Yeah, because they are competing right now with Russia. They could, if they signed a new Iran deal, they could be the market for where all the Russian oil and gas went. They could make up for that almost solely by themselves. And once they're back in the regular market, they can put pressure on Saudi Arabia, which is their, effectively their mortal enemy. And they care about running money from their oil sales, whereas the Saudis are worried about entrenched wealth. So the Iranians would rather lose money on oil to fuck the Saudis, and the Saudis can't afford to do that. They can't do it for long, anyways. Their bluff got called when they tried to do it on the American shale market. Most are increasing the probability of an Iranian deal. I see $80 as a significant support and would expect buyers to start get interested at those prices. What did I say? What did I say? What did I say? What did I say? What did I love you guys. What did I say? What did I say? What did I tell you? Huh? What did I tell you? What did I say? I literally said it. I literally said it last week. I literally said it's what it's gone. What did I tell you? Huh? What did I say? You heard it here. When are people gonna recognize? Thank you, Eileen. Thanks. Be well, Annie. What'd I say? No gloating. Fuck that. I'm gloating. Oil prices have fallen as global economic prospects worsen. Global prospects worsen. Not the United States, dummy. They're talking about China. That's 100% what they're talking about. China's falling off a fucking cliff right now. And so investments in that country are taking a gigantic shit. The United States and Europe are going to recover during this. China's going to start calling in its markers on Africa and Southeast Asia and all these countries that it's been, creating these little debt snares. And it's not going to be enough. They're overextended. If you got it, flaunt it. Al Pacino. That's right. Oh, I'm going to have your job, shithead. I do a terrible Al Pacino. Occasionally it works, but it takes me a month to find it. Crude has ticked lower over the past couple of months on concerns about an economic slowdown, a Chinese slowdown. It's all about a Chinese slowdown. All of it. Europe's going to have, inflation because of gas prices and stuff. Doesn't mean Europeans are going to want less shit. It's not happening. First world countries are still producing and consuming at record numbers. It is all about China. This is entirety. This is the Chinese market falling apart. And I got news for you. Even though China does not currently control Taiwan, they benefit from some of the economic value that's happening in Taiwan right now. If they attacked Taiwan, that's it. All Western businesses out of China almost immediately, except Tesla, which will apparently right now, Musk is just blowing smoke up the CCP's ass because he needs that factory, because he doubled down at the exact wrong time. He bought a factory well past the window. Providing more slowdown fodder, data released Monday showed China's apparent oil demand last month was about 10% lower year on year, with the economy battered by virus lockdowns and, this is a funny one, property woes. Property woes. Property woes. Get fucked. 40% of the economy in China, and every citizen's nest egg, if they have one, is in real estate. And the real estate is falling apart. Literally, we're talking about junk housing. Yes, there are Chinese bank runs. Henan province is just one of them. It's fucking terrible. I don't know if people can grasp how fucking extraordinary. It does sound like a TLC show. Property woes. Yeah. Oh no. Just like, oy. We're really seeing where China's economy is at, and it's a lot less rosy than people had hoped. Consumption is going to be lower than anticipated, certainly for oil. Suckden Financials head of research, Gordy Wilkes, said by phone. Dude, this is the problem I have. That word, anticipated. Motherfucker, I've been telling you people for years. I love the Chinese people, and I'm a big fan of Chinese culture. And if you want to see it, go to Taiwan, because it's undampened and destroyed by the Maoist bullshit, where they just decided they had low self-esteem. Mao had low self-esteem and was embarrassed by Chinese culture, traditional Chinese culture. So instead of letting it translate into a modern thing by over time educating the populace, he decided to fucking wipe it out, burn it down, and turn the place into the Soviet Union, because big bland concrete was more macho than the Chinese, than Asian architecture. It was fucking gross. They burned temples, they burned books, they murdered 40 million people, they starved people to death. It was fucking awful. It's just grotesque. And the following of it, and the enforcement of an atheistic society, and this is not a slam on atheists, you can believe whatever you want, and that's the nice thing. You can believe or not believe. That's the kind of society you want. But the enforcement of it created not a form of like free-thinking, science-based people, but a social Darwinism that took the worst of like Qin dynasty emperor-like behavior on the emperor's part, and like bifurcated it over everyone, where it's just dog eat fucking dog. Thank you, JD, for the gloat. I mean, come on. Mao was a disgusting pig. He had like massive STDs. He said he didn't wash his genitals or brush his teeth. He said he washed his genitals in the bodies of his concubines. Like this idea that that was communist, or even, it's just gross. Fuck that. And currently Xi Jinping is just like, let's go back to that. It's garbage. Yeah, Chinese banking is wholly shot, as they're also taking people's banking. Yes, everything's done. I've resting gloat face. Maybe so. China's economic recovery unexpectedly weakened. Fuck you, unexpectedly. In July, as fresh COVID-19 outbreaks impacted consumer and business spending. No, they didn't. The entire, everyone's nest egg is rotting. No. Consumer and business spending didn't unexpectedly weaken in July, dumb fuck. The rise in spending in May and June was a lie to start with. None of the numbers are true. I've fucking been there. And I went there open-hearted and wanting to see amazing advances. And I wanted to see how the Chinese were working on their, their carbon capture technology and their renewed and green cities. I wanted that to be true. It just fucking wasn't. We went to the world's biggest library that had no fucking books. Let me tell you, no books. Not just like, well, it's like thousands of copies of Mao's Little Red Book. None. All the books were painted. They were painted shelves. No books. And then there was supposed to be a room behind the place that was the legit library where they were like, yeah, I know these are painted, but it's just for looks. It's to get people fascinated by the idea of reading. And then they go into the library and then they go check out. The fucking shelves were empty. They wouldn't let us shoot there. They would not let us film in the physical library part that was supposed to be the real library attached to the big fancy library because there were no books. You would think that even just to fill the fucking space, they would have a myriad of pro-communist literature everywhere. But they didn't. Because I think they were afraid people would take the books and write fuck that on the pages. Yeah, I have that on video. That's true, Andrea. We've talked about this. I've shown this stuff. It's on a different computer, so we can review that stuff again at some point. But fucking hell. Everywhere we went, I was like, it's interesting. This is what they wanted to show us. But they're mad if I go over here. There was in one of the cities I went to, the Muslim community in that city was one of the most well-known aspects of it. And this is not Xinjiang. This is not where the Uyghurs are. They definitely kept me away from that place because I wasn't buying any of that shit. They've got a bunch of white monkeys over there doing these videos like, there's no genocide. This is lovely. Look at these happy Uyghurs. Which, it's just gross. There was no fucking way they were going to be able to take me there and have me pretend. What, buddy? What is it, Chipple? Oh, no. He's under the door again. I already covered you. Well, okay. Hold on. It's a morning show. I can do whatever I fucking want. Hold on. Chipple, what are you doing? What is it? What are you doing? Hi, buddy. What do you think? What is happening? You're very needy this morning. You're very needy and lovely. You're very needy. I'm telling the people a story. I'm going to try to go to Chippage. What's your Chippage doing? You're okay. He just wants his morning scratches. And he's like, what are you doing in there? There you go. He just lays in my lap. It's very sweet. It's very sweet. Yeah. You're a purring boy. So this area was known for one of the oldest Muslim temples in China. And there's a big garden out front of the place where there are these statues, like Buddhist statues that were encased that weren't, well, they weren't really Buddhas. They were statues of officials of the time that were done almost like religious statues. They were real human beings in the area, but none of them, they were all the Chinese officials. They weren't any of the Muslim officials. I mean, they were Muslim Chinese, but this was from a specific time period. And then the temple itself, you could go in and leave your shoes off, and you could go in and pray and it was fine. And there was at one point we were going to film in it, and then they were afraid we were going to film what we could film with no sound, because they were afraid that we would see or record the imam that they had there, who was basically just doing a Muslim-ish piece of pro-CCP propaganda to the Muslims in the place. That's what the they would use the standard fare, assalamu alaikum, and like start and finish and Allahu Akbar and that, and like they pepper that throughout, but the whole thing was just about teaching them to love the CCP, and they didn't want us to record the actual thing. So we were only allowed in the courtyard, and then I went in by myself later. I went back to the place, and this was very, now that I think of it, hinky. So I went back. There's a market near the place where to buy stuff, and it wasn't far from our hotel. So I decided after we filmed, I was going to go down there, get some food, and then do a little bit of shopping. And then, I was going to walk over to that little garden again, take some pictures just for my own personal use. And it was blocked off. You couldn't go in. Like they were, doing something or whatever. And it never reopened the entire time we were there. I don't know if after I left, it went back to abnormal. But we had to meet with the propaganda minister. They knew where we were every second of every day. Yeah, so. There we go. So let's see. WTI for September delivery fell 3.8% to $88.60 a barrel on the New York Mercantile Exchange at 12.09. Brent for October settlement, it fell at 3.8 and 94. Yeah, this is the sweet stuff. This is the really good stuff, the Brent crude. Prompted spread was 82 cents in backwardation compared with $4 a month earlier. So that's down. There's your, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you your 0% inflation year over year. And by the way, what I tell you guys about year-over-year inflation was going to fuck them in conversation because it had spiked artificially due to COVID last year. Compared to August of last year, where it went way up, it's gonna basically zero out for the rest of the year because it was so extraordinary. Hi, buddy. What you doing? I know. So, anyways, this part of it is just. I told you. Yeah, backwardation. Backwardation is kind of like where how can I phrase this? It's like revised costs, how much it actually cost. There's a little bit of trading that goes on where they're like, on second thought, I know you bought these, but if you want any more, it's going to be a little higher. So they were able to buy what they got, but they needed more, so they paid a little more for it, and it evened out. Yeah. Backwardation sounds politically incorrect. I don't know. Sounds fairly politically correct to me. Let's see. Bloomberg. Get out of here. Right? This is why China doesn't agitate the. Okay, these are all like the stupid ads. 89.41. Yeah, WTI crude. Dow Jones is almost at 34, kids. It's going to keep going, too. There's no reason why not. Everybody in the world is trying to find someplace safe to put their money, and it's not safe anywhere else. Even if you're not making a huge dividend on it, they know that there's growth in the United States where there's not growth anywhere else. Hi, buddy. I'm sorry. I'll pet you. I'm doing a thing. Sometimes I need both hands. Kiddo, buddy. Yeah. It's a boy. It's a boy. What are you doing? Oh, it's a scratch. Oh, it's a scratch. Hi. Remember this was like 29 something a little bit ago? same stupid rally, same stupid drop every fucking time. All these ads, crazy. Every time they spike oil up. Yeah. Stock swing higher as rally broadens, yields fall. Yeah, because nobody's expecting profits for a while, but they think it's a better long-term investment, and things are recovering. People bought the dip, and now they're in for the long haul. Oil sinks to 6-month low in China. Yeah, that's what we were just looking at. Buhari's Exxon sale flip-flop risks Nigeria's oil reform. Ukrainian latest martial law extended, fuel tax to make a comeback. Blah blah blah. Hi, buddy. Where are you going? No, because you're going to play with the wires. You can either sit here or you can go out into the other room. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? What? What's he doing? Anyways, I'm tired of being right. I'm not actually. It's great. Grain giant Viterra, which is partly owned by Canadian pensioners, continued to operate in Russia during the invasion of Ukraine, despite international sanctions and over the objections of some of its own staff. I mean, there's a lot of mixed up stuff because for a long time, Russia was, playing fairly nice, even though they weren't ever since 2014. Pre-2014, everybody got really deeply embedded in it, and then they went, oh, shit. And the same thing with, China's shift towards authoritarianism under Xi Jinping. It lasted long enough for people to get totally invested where getting out would just get harder and harder and harder, and then that's what they take advantage of. What do you do? What do you do? What are you doing, Mr. Man? What are you doing, Tipple? What you doing? What are you doing? How's my boy? Oh, okay, hold on. You are not jumping at anybody, young man. Here, hop out. Go play in the box. Nobody's out there. I think he thought he saw somebody walk by. Oh my God, the hair. Ridiculous. Okay. So, 30 years ago on this day, the Russian-inflicted war in Abkhazia started. About 250,000 Georgians were forced to flee. Their road took almost 2 weeks. There was heat during the day and frost at night. About 500 people froze to death. Jesus. Yeah, this is the idea that the Georgians want the Russians there is in and of itself fucking ridiculous. The Chechens, everybody, and they started pulling people out of these areas because they need them in Russia. I mean, they need them in Ukraine. Kev Mayer tells Ukrainian babble that the capital could be in for a cold winter due to gas shortages. I ask everyone to prepare warm clothes, warm blankets, because they don't rule out that the temp at homes will be several degrees lower than normal. According to the Russians, he's congratulating the Poles of the day from the Polish army. I thought the Polish were just waiting to take over the country and split it with the Moldovans or something. I don't know. It's hard to believe. Putin's latest bragging show totally reeks of desperation. This is in the Daily Beast. We'll check this out. We're almost out of time. Oh, we're out of time. Oh, God, everything just zips by. You guys are so fun. Putin is now boasting about Russian weapons that no other country in the world has. Yes, because why would they? Even saying he's ready to export them to allies, but there's some problems with this story. Yes, they suck. Many of them are years, maybe decades ahead of their foreign counterparts, and in terms of tactical and technical characteristics, they are significantly superior, Putin said in an annual arms show Monday. We're just saving them. My girlfriend in Canada has them, and she's totally real. And very sexy and smarter, and she was also a track star, and she models on the side. And she called me last night. She just doesn't feel like coming down for this Christmas because her family is so big, because she's so fertile. In an apparent show of camaraderie, Putin vowed money that he wants to expand Russia's arms trade with other countries around the world, claiming that foreign countries value Russian weapons for their efficiency and high quality. And boy, do we, like, would you like to buy some Russian rifles? Never been fired, only dropped once. Russia sincerely cherishes historically strong friendlies, truly trusting ties with the states of Latin America, Asia, Africa, and is ready to offer its partners and allies the most modern types of weapons, from small arms to armored vehicles and artillery, combat aircraft, and unmanned aerial vehicles. Why are you buying them from Iran if yours are that fucking good? Huh? That's genuinely confusing. Why would they go down and buy Iranian UAVs if theirs are good? Moscow is indeed a top weapons exporter. Russia accounts for 20% of global arms exports. Yeah, largely every Kalashnikov in the world. And is the second largest exporter of weapons in the world, ranking just after the United States, according to analysis of exports tracked by the independent research entity. Yeah, there's a huge drop-off in number 2. India, China, and Algeria are the top recipients of Russian weaponry, and Russia is also the main supplier of arms to Egypt, Vietnam, Kazakhstan, Belarus, and Angola. Well, they had to take back some stuff from Belarus, so there's a bit of a refund there. Was it backwardization? Russia's weapons export business is starting to feel the cascading effects of waging war in Ukraine. According to military intelligence assessments, Russia has lost 1,876 tanks, upwards of 4,000 armored vehicles, 985 artillery systems, and more in the war so far, according to data from the General Staff of the Armed Forces Ukraine. The industry could struggle to meet any. Okay, they just they just fucking suck. They suck. This is the concerning part. This is the only real concern over the next few months. Like, I would say into October, possibly November, the HIMARS are going to start are just wiping out all the supply routes and all the major hubs of the Russians in the Donbass and in Crimea. Crimea will more likely be first because there's value to it, for one, incredible value to having the space, which they took for granted. The Ukrainians took for granted, I think, for a long time, and now they recognize it. But also just the seizing of Crimea, back from the Russians, will be an enormous black eye on Russia. And so that'll be first. And then they'll start moving up and pushing them back towards the original borders. Basically saying, if you side with Russia and you like Russia and you feel like you want to be ruled by Russia and you like all of the way Russia runs its government and its judiciary, move to Russia. It's not like they're short of space. Ask your government to relocate you. Get the fuck out. They put you here because you would be good cannon fodder for them, and they could use you as an excuse if they started losing. Like, look, they are bombing their own citizens, like when it's Russian citizens. So go home. That's the other thing too. And I'll end on this. I really will. Hold on one second. This is kind of, here it is. There are these are the this is the bridge to get out of Crimea. This was yesterday morning. Yeah, yesterday morning. And it's been like that for days. This is in, this is out. These are leaving, these are coming in. And this basically, the single thing that caused this was the airport bombing. That's what sort of, let's see, the latest Russian anti-aircraft systems were delivered to occupied Crimea. Wait, the Russian anti-aircraft, these are these guys. They're balloons. That's funny. That's amazing. Come on now. Because you can see that, like, the dented in the side of it, but then it starts to sway in the breeze. Come on. Stop it. Stop. Yeah. Operation Bouncy House is in full fucking effect, okay? If these guys send any blimps in, we will retaliate in kind, okay? That's fucking crazy. Quit it. That's not real. That's silly. I can't. That can't be. Quit it. I just can't. That's so fucking funny. Oh boy. The end of an empire. The Russian invasion of Crimea displaced thousands of Ukrainians. Russian colonists who rushed to take their place now find themselves in traffic jams with thousands of others trying to evacuate. Moscow's island fortress is no longer a safe place. This Russian woman says, I don't want to leave Crimea, Lushta. It is so amazing here. We got used to living here. We lived like it is our own. We felt like at home here. Well, it's not. For fuck's sake. Russia transferred 1 million Russian citizens to Crimea after the annexation in order to replace the local population who partly left Crimea and partly was oppressed, arrested, sentenced, relocated, whose property was seized, businesses hijacked. There's nothing new in this ethnic cleansing replacement policy. The Crimean Tatars were the Turkish people who were on Crimea, and the Russians did the exact same fucking thing under the USSR. They deported from Crimea to Siberia, Central Asia. They were banned from returning home. Same time, Russia called ethnic Russians to go to and settle on the rich lands of Crimea. There you go. This 1951 poster promises Russians who come to Crimean lands huge financial support, freedom from many duties. Of course, and that's the other thing too, is that in the Donbass region seized by the Russians, they wouldn't pay tax. They'd get all the same. They would basically, the tax they would pay would be possibly getting bombed because they decided to occupy a war zone. Later decades, Moscow continued to pump Crimea with ethnic Russians, especially with hardcore communists and KGB officers who made careers in Moscow, could get a right to retire in Crimea and get an apartment there. They were Moscow's fifth column in the Ukrainian Crimea. So it's not a surprise that Moscow just repeats the same tactics over and over again. This is for all those assholes who are saying, they sympathize with Russia. These are people in the Donbass who really feel they have ties to Russia. Yes, they were sent there. Their ties are so strong, they're actually Russians. They're an invading force. This was fucking 8 years ago. This is not, these folks didn't, considering how people feel about South Africans, and that was like 100 years ago now. Yeah, that's it. This is what made them decide, like, okay, bye. You know what? Fuck off. I mean, the architecture's nice. Crimea is going to be lovely once the Ukrainians take it back. This would be a lovely place if it was free. Yep. No more 2022 bikini pics. Russians are hastily leaving Crimea. Yeah, it's mainly the see if we can find. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, these are the. That's the explosion. Jesus Christ! Look at that stuff. And people in these little. How much are the cabanas? They're an extra 200 euros for that. That's not bad. Like let's just do one of the cabanas for the day, and then. Like, don't mind that. That's just an ammunition storage area for occupying forces. Look at this little girl. Poor thing. Jesus. Bye. People leaving. And oh, that's the explosion in the background. People just getting the fuck out. Is that same dude peeing on the side of the road dozens of times? Yeah, they're basically waiting until the traffic dwindles. And I wouldn't doubt it that the Russians are hamstringing this traffic to slow it down and get it all stacked so that the Ukrainians won't hit the bridge leaving until most of the traffic is cleared. And so the Russians have a reason to like back up traffic and make it worse so they can't get out. Look at this guy. Yeah, there you go. Using the many webcams, in Ukraine and Russian occupied Crimea beaches, seafronts look quieter today. Well, let's take a look at that, shall we? Is that a thing? Webcams in the center of Yalta Promenade, Yalta, Crimea. Looks pretty busy right now at night. Maybe they only feel good coming out at night. Center of Yalta Promenade. The cameras installed on the building of the restaurant among the century-old Italian pines and thickets of oleander on the live broadcast in real time are clearly visible. I don't know. Maybe. Are they playing a tape? Interesting. Let's try this one. Webcam in Potenet Park in Crimea. Let's see what this. Yeah, it's pretty late at night, so somebody's waiting for Godot over there. I'm in park sitting duty tonight. Are you lonesome tonight? Let's see. Let's go back to this one. Where should we look? Let's see. The Christian's settlement. That's a great name for it. You can tell that you're supposed to be somewhere. Here's Alushta. That's that lady was talking about. The Professor's Corner in Alushta, Crimea. Lights are on. Lights are blazing. Live webcam shows a view of Professor's Corner, Alushta, Crimea, Russia. Cameras installed in the Villa No. 1 of the hotel. Professor's Corner, formerly called Castel Primorsk, from 1920 to 2001. The western part of the city of Alushta, which appeared in the middle of the originally. Okay, blah blah. Next year, Russians will need a visa. Arguably true. Yep. Oh, here we go. Crimea ambulance on the way to the site of the explosion. People are trying to leave en masse. Traffic jams have already formed on the road. I mean, this is a few days ago. Yeah, this is August 9th. And this has been going on basically since the 9th. Yeah, there's the explosion again from another sort. Look at all these cars just like, fuck this. They're like headed in that direction and then you see a bomb go off. Jesus Christ. By the way, the Russians have still not admitted that this was a Ukrainian strike. They still say it was a flicked cigarette. That they did this to themselves. Let me restate that. the Russians would rather people believe that this explosion was caused by their own incompetence than the Ukrainians hitting them with a missile everyone knows that they have from a distance they know it can travel. I believe them. Yeah. Drunk Russians did it for a laugh, right? It's so fucking weird. It's so weird. Anyway, so this has been, you know, these are, we'll see like a repeat of these same kind of things because people will retweet these things. Maybe there's more of the videos in this place, but yeah, same one over and over. Yeah, that's those guys leaving, and then I mean, only so much footage can get out of these places. It's understandable. Anyways, I gotta go. I've been on longer than normal, so I will see you guys this afternoon, and we will have our regular take on video gun. Santa's edited to include which one? Videos are in a recent episode of Hannity. Yeah, we know, dummy. Rudy Giuliani. I'm sure we'll have some Rudy stuff because he's been really pushing this horse shit. By the way, he's one of the lawyers for Rudy Giuliani been told he's a target of criminal investigation in Georgia. No kidding. You think? By the way, the January 6th committee and the the House Intel Committee has asked for the footage, not only a breakdown of the documents that were found at Mar-a-Lago and the possible security problems that could stem from them, but the FBI and the DOJ got 60 days of Mar-a-Lago security footage since June. They you know, once they knew that was there, they wanted security footage. They wanted to have access to the security footage for the previous 60 days, going back to that date, to the date of the subpoena. And when they got it, they were like, holy fuck, people are going in and out of that room all the time. And that's what triggered the raid, more than likely. Home builders say U.S. is in a housing recession as sentiment turns negative. The houses are overpriced. What do you mean sentiment turns negative? The housing costs went through the fucking roof, and now they're swinging back. Wild swings in mortgage rates last week caused a rare surge in refinancing because they went back down. Consumers' confidence in the housing market hits its lowest point in over a decade. That's because everybody bought they're already in. Everybody bought a new house during the fucking, like, can we not pretend? We do this all the time. All right, I'm going to be on forever if I keep going through everything. But can we not pretend that COVID didn't happen and that there wasn't a big move? Yeah, it was a search. Thank you, Stargal. It was a search indeed. I love how they're like, this is trending, and there's all of what, 5 tweets. It's such a trend. It's so trending. The Waffen SS. Eek. Who called them the Waffen? Cancel culture. I lived in Germany in the mid-'80s. I met 9 young grandparents, uncles, friends, almost lived the great years. I was polite to them. We had meals together. We were neighbors. So what? You know, a racist. I have polite dinners with former members of the Waffen SS who served on the Eastern Front. Societies contain many elements. Oh, good Lord. Why? Who steps on those kind of rakes anymore? Honest to God. And then, of course, Graham's getting... he's in trouble too, so. Skynet was over a commercial building in downtown LA that was on fire Sunday evening. Okay, yes, fires happen. That's it. Breaking news. A lot of breaking news jokes. Breaking. All right, I'm gonna go. Because I'll end up being here all day, and we'll just go through all these things, and then it's just gonna be a Midwestern goodbye. It's just how it happens. And I have other stuff to read so that I can prep for this afternoon when I will raw dog a bunch of right-wing video because I don't pre-watch them. So I've got to avoid anything that I might watch later. So fingers crossed. Oops. Sorry, I just got a DM from my girlfriend because one of her favorite Steelers players likes ramen before games, which means she's going to want ramen tonight, which is totally fine. I'm for it. But we're going to have a ridiculous number of, like, at some point, Trump's going to come out of the woodwork and start doing interviews. And I'm like, he's apparently did some sort of interview with Fox News Digital. I do not want to watch it ahead of time if he did, but there's apparently, you know, one of those floating around. So he's going to start calling in and just start blathering soon. And I can't wait. But the defenders are still out there. We're going to have a bunch of those folks today, I have no doubt. So I will see you guys this afternoon for HAL Sparks Mega Worldwide. Thank you for tuning in for the morning show. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for super chatting. Bless you. Oh, euros for the bouncy castle. That's fucking amazing. I just retweeted that if you haven't seen, if you joined in late and you missed it. But a lot of these people are still prostrating themselves for Trump and throwing themselves under the bus on his behalf. There's a myriad of people who actually have knowledge of this stuff who Trump is going to start shoving out in front of cameras to try and cover for his ass because Kash Patel is shitting the bed everywhere and he's doing a terrible job. So Trump's going to want other people to do it. And as those people show up, we're going, you know, Jenna Ellis is one. We're going to have to cover what they say as well, just to poke holes in it and show you guys just how uncoordinated these lies are going to be. I think that will be the stunning part. Get ready for just how, like, baffle them with bullshit is sort of the Bannon idea, but just throwing anything against the wall to see what sticks is the other plan. And they're going to be doing both. They won't know which of their own talking points are bullshit because Trump's not going to be honest with the people that work with him. And if they fuck up, it's their ass. Because here's the one thing, maggots, people in his orbit, I am telling you, if you back him, you will get fucked. He is going to throw you to the wolves. There is no version of reality where Donald Trump locks arms with you in solidarity if you start to go down. No fucking way. You will become persona non grata. You will be an unknown. You will be probably a Democrat that only got him coffee. Don't do it. Brian Kilmeade has to, because he's a moron. He's stupid. He's a stupid person. He's dumb. He's mentally incapacitated compared to his fellow humans. Genuinely dumb. But if you're watching this, obviously you come from taste and breeding, so I'm just warning you. It's not much of a warning, but it'll do for now. All right, and as for everybody else, I will see you this afternoon. Consider that a warning. That's not a threat. That's a promise. Okay, bye.